So we're going to move right along to our next talk by Jessica Nakano from the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History, Finding Faux Fossils.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessie Nakano, and I am the Department Registrar for Paleobiology at the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C. First, I want to start by thanking all the virtual conference organizers who ensured we could still have the supportive community and platform to engage with one another. To start with some background, I have been with the Paleo team for over a year now, and during this year, a major part of my responsibilities was continuing the cleanup of very long overdue loans and sorting out the status of specimens in limbo. So these are all problems we all know too well. And now, as many of you know, or similar to your own processes, our standard acquisition workflow at NMNH requires the curators must review and approve any specimen for acquisition or accession. So what happens when you verify the documentation is in order and a curator approves the specimen, however, the specimen turns out to be a fake? So this is exactly the case for the fossil you see here. This prepared trilobite became the catalyst for my professional and personal rabbit hole of curiosity about fake or faux fossils in natural history collections. As I was tasked with cleaning up and figuring out what to do with this trilobite, my collections instincts kicked in, and I gathered the paperwork and history to get this logged and properly recorded in our system as an acquire for non-accession. Research told that this fake trilobite was purchased and received over 10 years ago for a possible exhibit, but that fell through when it was reviewed and identified as a fake. Our hands were tied legally and ethically, so we were stuck with it. The specimen was thus added to our pseudo-fossil collection, which I did not know we had the time either. So great, more questions arose and more side doors opened. I started discussions with longstanding paleo collection staff about this and received their resources and knowledge about the topic of fake trilobites in general. And to clarify, this is a separate discussion from replicas and reproductions. Anyways, I found there are informal fossil forums and websites on how to identify fake fossils from Morocco, China, Russia, and elsewhere. I found the only specimen with information on this for the public side is on the Trilobite website for American Museum of Natural History in New York. This new knowledge surprised me, though, mainly because of how common it was for specimens like this one to exhibit real trilobite elements that were manipulated and combined to form a fake fossil. I was also fascinated to learn just how an origin or locality history of the specimen could indicate that it was a possible forgery. So my thoughts were, could these fake specimens be utilized for our curators, researchers, and collection staff? Are real elements useful for comparative scientific research? Can a study of fake fossils educate the public and collections professionals about methods of forgery and means to identify fakes through physical assessment? Or pick out what the red flags are in documentation? I had these series of questions because simultaneously I was also working on a similar, but not as old, legacy acquisition for a large donation of purchased invertebrates. There were initial concerns from the curators and fellow collection staff, all based on their years of experience in paleobiology and their institutional knowledge around the subject. Thus, I found myself thinking about this little guy again. And I thought, how could this specimen and the whole pseudo-fossil collection itself be better utilized? Could we benefit from an internal written guide and visuals on this? Could this be an effective teaching tool for collection staff and non-scientists like myself? Even more interesting, I thought, how do other collections professionals manage fakes in their collections? Do other museums and institutions have a pseudo collection or some sort of guide to identify fake fossils? Clearly, as I dug deeper, there were more questions, but there was also a growing interest in me to open or find a conversation with curators and collection staff and educators about these faux fossils. So I decided to add this topic to my list of side projects and deep dives, and the first stop for this project will be reaching out to curators and education staff to gauge their knowledge and thoughts. I realize I am also not an expert on the subject, and I do not have as much knowledge as our curators and colleagues do. Those individuals can likely identify real versus altered elements on inverts more readily. However, time is a hot commodity for everyone, so calling on those experts may cause delays or time restraints in properly processing. And therefore, it seemed like reviving the use of our in-house pseudo collection was a great opportunity. This idea may be a professional development task for me to better understand our pseudo collection, but overall, I think it could still be useful. And now that this spotlight has evolved into a slew of questions and opportunities about fake fossils in our collections, but for me and hopefully fellow registrars and collections professionals, this is an uplifting reminder about the intrigue of this profession. It continues to encourage me to learn and to think about the benefits of legacy problems in our collections, to not only work towards end-all solutions, but develop platforms and resources that help us inform each other and educate future generations of collection staff. Thank you.